We talked the other night about a bit of consistency and starting to take chances and having that defensive solidity. Would it constitute a really good week this week if you could win a league game away from home, progressing the Football League trophy and winning the FA Cup on Saturday? Would that be progression for you?
It'd be a fantastic week if we can do that, but still got a big ask on Saturday. A game that both teams will earmark as a chance to, one, to progress, but two, to try and buy a ticket to win a lot, to create a lot of money for the clubs. So there's added pressure on the games. But I think we've been going in the right direction since the Fleetwood game, to be honest. I think that's shown in the work rate, in the concentration levels. And you've just got to keep that going and keep topping it up, keep trying to get better, keep trying to get stronger, faster, fitter, but also be fresher into the games and be able to compete for the however many minutes you play.
You talk about the potential ticket in the raffle, or however you want to put it, going into round 3. In some ways, is losing in round 2 of the FA Cup the worst round to lose in?
Yeah, I'd say so. And it can be a double-edged sword, the cups, because if you have an extended run, you go to maybe the 4th or the 5th round. Then when you go out, it's like someone puts a pin in a balloon, and I've seen that so many times. But we've just got to focus on each game as they come and setting our standards and trying to match them standards or go beyond them. And if you set a standard, why just try and reach that standard? You know, you want to keep on improving, you want to keep on learning, you want to incrementally get better, and we've got to try and push our running stats even higher, and certainly get our conversion rates up in terms of chances to goals.
The sort of financial potential of it, I remember years ago, you got a replay against Yeovil, and then the winner was going to play Man United, and there was an awful lot made of the financial implications of that. Can you afford to think about stuff like that?
I think you'd have to. You can't put it away, but when the game kicks off, it's trying to win a game of football, and that's not down to money. That's down to heart, spirit, skill, concentration, determination, loads of different factors, and you've just got to try and come out on top of that.
I think in the FA Cup you've got a pretty good record against non-league opponents. You lost to Guiseley in a replay a few years ago, but before that on a few runs you've beaten teams like Woking and Salisbury City. Is it different, or with your background and where you've come from and the fact that you were once the conference team in that equation and even below that, do you think you and Jimmy and John approach it in a different way perhaps to other league managers?
Maybe you're right. I just never take any game for granted, no matter what the level is, and we can be either playing up or playing down. I don't write our chances off, and I certainly don't take anything for granted the other way. And the minute you start doing that, you're setting yourself up for a fall. We have to be at our best all the while when we play, and it's very, very evident when we drop off, which isn't very often, but when we do, it's painful.
Do you think there is a big difference? You played League 2 opposition in the last round, you've got National League opposition in this round. Do you think there is a big gap there, because National League teams promoted to League 2 tend, I think, historically to do really well?
I don't think there's much of a difference, to be honest. What I do know is that the non-league teams tend to really overperform in the FA Cup as compared to the league. They find unexpected resources and dig into depths and find a way to get results. And at the FA Cup, that's what makes it so wonderful. It's littered with non-league teams beating league teams, and we only have to go back, as you said, to when we were doing.
Do you remind the players of that? Are the players these days as aware of the FA Cup and the pedigree and the history and all that stuff, or is
Possibly not. Possibly not. I think every time we play in the FA Cup, me and Jimmy trot out John Domain's famous phrase, the best domestic cup competition in the world. And it still is to me. It's very, very special to me. It was as a player, And certainly it's, you know, we said this last time we played in it. It's the reason that we're here. It's the reason why this is built. It's the reason why that pitch is like that. And that's the reason why we're a League One club, because of an FA Cup run. And you could add on Bread Ormond getting sold as well to Southampton. But that's the reason why we're in full time, because we had the money to do.
I'll mention that to Brett when he's here on Saturday. As far as the perception of Accrington Stanley, the media that will be here, the coverage that will be on the game, will be in case Barnet win and in case it's a National League team beating a League One team. Is that something that's still weird to get your head round? Or have you been in the league now for long enough that doesn't seem strange anymore?
I think we've been in the league long enough for it to feel strange, but really are a typical underdog, aren't we? So it's like David coming up against someone that isn't Goliath. Did it ever happen?
Yeah, probably, but it's not written down.
Yeah.
You beat Barnet in a cup run where you got to round 4, 2010, I think it was. Obviously, they've gone out of the league and they're trying to get back into the Football League. They're certainly going well at the moment. They're unbeaten in a number of games. They've kept 4 clean sheets on the spin. What have you made of them? Well,
we went out to see them against Chelmsford. Yeah, decent side, got good players. Players who were coveted by league clubs. And they'll be a tough opposition. You know, they'll give anyone a game. And we've got to be at our very best. You know, it's quite synonymous with me because I've got a good friend, Mark Carter, who played for Barnet. I've also got my son-in-law and his dad who are Barnet fans. So it's got a nice little connection for us.
So, son-in-law and his dad, Barnet supporters, are they going to be here? Is that going to be something you discussed beforehand?
I think they've rapidly become Accrington fans over the years, and certainly my grandson will be cheering for Accrington. I think it'll be a double-edged sword for my son-in-law. I still deep down here want us to win.
But you've managed to claim the grandson.
Oh, definitely.
Excellent work. Just a couple of things on specific individuals. The injuries continue, don't they? You know, you lost Sean McConville and Joe Pritchard the other week. Have you got any of those? We were trying to count them the other night. I think we went 8, 9, 10 of sort of first team players that are unavailable at the moment. Is there any prospect of any of those in the near future?
Well, hopefully Joe Pritchard and Ryan Ashley won't be too far away. They'll be the next ones who will be back into the first team, I would imagine. And then the long terms, you just have to wait and see.
Ryan Astley had almost by default become a sort of regular choice at centre-half because of all the problems you've had there. How impressed have you been with the fact that you've still been able to continue this defensive improvement, and yet you've had to make a change there? You've changed the system. Baba Fernandez has come into the side. You had Seamus Keneally playing there in the last FA Cup game. Has that been a source of kind of real encouragement for you, that you've had to chop and change and you've still been able to keep this good defensive record?
Yeah, that's testament to how hard the lads have worked to try and cope with that, and the lads who've come in have done well. And that's what you need. That's why you have a squad. You know, that's why you don't just pick 11 players every week. You have a squad of 11 players. You don't do that, because you know that you're going to have injuries, you're going to have suspensions. When you get in a good run, you know, as we did the year we won the league, you very rarely have to change. Everything's hunky-dory, apart from the lads who aren't playing, because they want to be playing. But they've got to be ready to play, and thankfully the lads who've come in have been ready to play.
Has anything changed on Doug Tharm? Because obviously he was not given permission to play in the last round.
We'll have the conversation again, but you know, that'll be down to them.
And I want to ask you about Mitch Clark as well, who started every league game, pretty much all of the cup games. How valuable is the sort of consistency that you get from someone like him? Not just the consistency of performance, but consistently available. Yeah,
you know, you wouldn't know that. He goes down injured every day in training. He loves a limp. Great character, great around his dressing room. I personally think he's probably the best right back in the league, and he's playing wing back as well. Time just tackles unbelievably well. Very, very educated coming forward. You could play him anywhere and he'd do a job. and he could have a bright future.
And we talked about the chances the other night. I think it was 21 shots and 4 or 5 on target, or whatever the stat was. Cody Adedoyin started first time since August in that game. In your experience as a centre forward, is there any substitute for that sort of sharpness that you get from playing 90 minutes, from getting those chances, and maybe in 2-3 starts time, do you think he'll be taking those chances?
I think that definitely helps to get 90 minutes under your belt. I was amazed he got the 90 minutes, to be fair. Cody will only get better. He's a good footballer, he's talented, he's strong, physically strong, got a great shot, great ability, and hopefully the best is yet to come from Cody.
And I'm sure you've got an eye on the window opening after this spell of fixtures through the Christmas period and stuff. It probably doesn't take a rocket scientist. Is that area of the pitch something you're looking at? Because goal scoring has been something we've talked about a lot.
Yeah, we're going to have to. Not just the only position, but we're going to have to. But we still have to thin the squad out to do that. You know, we can't just keep adding. Can't keep putting fluid into a vessel that's already full.